right, there we are. And there he is, David Furones, with our Welt Rheaume P.A Dolphins report. And don't forget to reach out to Jeff Welt or Daniel Rheaume. Those of you that are dealing with issues from Milton, from issues with Helene, and if the insurance company, you call them, and I warned you, never call the insurance company. You call Welt Rheaume first. So if the insurance companies aren't responding, please call my guys. The consultation's completely free. 954-966-4646. We've had listeners also. Don't be embarrassed. It can happen to me. It can happen to anybody. Bankruptcy issues. That's happening to a lot of Americans right now because they've gone into their savings accounts like never before. Savings accounts are at all-time lows right now. 401ks. So it's all understandable. Things are happening. It can happen to any of us. Personal injury, business owner claims, criminal defense. So, anybody out there, Sean Kingston, criminal defense, give him a ring. Welt Rheaume, 954-966-4646. All right. You got any criminal defense issues?
Not at the moment, but you never know. You never know living in Miami.
At the moment, okay. All right. You looking to get in trouble there in Indy or something? Is that what's going on?
Always a great place to get in trouble. No, but it'll be my first time going to Indy, and it's not for the combine. This used to be an annual trip in the AFC East. Way back, I was a kid when that was happening, but now a few and far between that it's actual game days for the Dolphins in Indy, huh?
Yeah, definitely. I've been there, I don't know, 20 some times now. I actually went for the Super Bowl that was in Indy.
That's cool.
I was there that week for that. They had heat lamps all over the streets. It was interesting.
Which Super Bowl is over there?
I want to say 7, 8, 9 years ago. And by the way, the entire week, bro, was 50 degrees.
That's not bad at all.
It's not supposed to happen. That's never happened to me when you go to India in the winter. Are you kidding me? And yeah, it was actually very reasonable, the temperatures that week by freakish standards, that it was like, wow, man. So yeah, I remember that. I've been there. This is the first time I go for a game, actually, because I've only gone for the combine 21 or 22 times or something like that, and then for the Super Bowl. So this is my first time also going for a game. But what it won't be is my first time going to St. Elmo's Steakhouse.
Of course.
I'm going to take Sean there. He's never been there, so hopefully we'll enjoy a steak there on Saturday night.
Okay, enjoy a steak. And do we know how? Right, the shrimp cocktails. Do we know how we can deal with that?
I'm fine with it, but I am looking forward to seeing the eyes of Sean Stanley water up with him doing the shrimp cocktail. So yes,
it's quite an experience. Yeah.
Unfortunately, Sean's been with me, so I can't trick him. Like you could trick so many other people that don't know anything about the shrimp cocktail until they try it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, you got to put a bunch of that stuff on it. Yeah, make sure you just load it up. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's got to try with the cocktail sauce and see how it goes. But something tells me he's not going to flinch, bro. I'm telling you, he's not. Anybody that walks around New York in 29 degrees, snowing, with a T-shirt and just like filming around, going, "Oh wow, this is cool," and is not even cold. He doesn't have anything on except a T-shirt. I don't think he's going to flinch with that, bro.
Yeah, built different, huh? But
yeah,
there's two different types of things though that you're dealing with there.
Think about that? Can you do that?
No, I mean, for someone from Miami, I can handle the cold okay, but that I wouldn't be at those extremes of just under 30 without an extra layer. Nah.
We literally walked out of the hotel. I had a shirt, a sweater, and a jacket.
Yeah.
Okay? I
Seems
was
appropriate. Yeah.
And I was freezing my ass off. And this dude was in a T-shirt. And it's freaking snowing. He's walking around like it's nothing. And seriously, He wasn't like joking around. Like you could tell it wasn't bothering him at all. Like, wow, this guy's not normal. So this guy's got blood that's like boiling inside or something. I don't know. He's got Jack Daniels in his blood or something that I don't know of or something. I don't know. It's impressive. Antifreeze. That's what it is. You're loaded with antifreeze.
Yeah. Although now, after I went through Kansas City last January, which was sub-zero and wind chill that was like 30 below, now I feel like I could just deal with anything. But I don't actually want to, though. If I had the choice, I'm not putting myself through it again.
At least you have
all your experience.
Yeah, at least you walked out of there with all your limbs, because a lot of people did not walk out of there with some.
Not everyone can say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people had to cut off some limbs. All right. So, what are we expecting from the Dolphins this week? What has Mike McDaniel learned from last week that you think you'll see this week?
Yeah. Well, I hope it's to stick with the run. I want to see the Dolphins stick with the run. Go, especially if they get Achane back, and then maybe there's some possibilities of incorporating all three with Jalen Wright and Raheem Mostert in there. That's great. I kind of want to see Tyler Huntley get incorporated into the run game as well, but I don't think the Dolphins are going to go that route just because they haven't yet. And even when I asked it to Snoop Huntley yesterday in the locker room, he said he was here to be a quarterback first, and he'll run when he has to. So that seems to indicate that it's not so much designed runs that they're looking for, but it'll be just when he has to scramble, when he finds the opportunity to, and the coverage is there taking away his options. So, and I also asked Frank Smith that, and he seemed to say that, the coaches weigh some options on whether or not to incorporate it week to week, but that they just haven't necessarily felt like it was the right time yet. So I guess it's like a week-to-week matchup-based thing if they see some things where they could exploit with him running the ball. But just sticking to the traditional run game, going outside zone, running between the tackles, bringing a physical presence. These are things that I want to see the Dolphins continue even when Tua comes back. So certainly keep it going while you have your backup quarterback playing.
Yeah, it would be nice that they and use the tight end, which is something they did this week too, and using Jonnu Smith, because the running game and the tight end are absolute friends to the quarterback. So it helps every quarterback out there. And like we've all talked about here, everybody that comes off that stinking tree runs and uses the tight end. This guy's the only guy that's kind of off the beaten path there, and that's the part I just don't understand. So I hope that we see a lot of the elements we saw last week. It would make a lot of sense. The only thing I would tell you about the Tyler Huntley thing, because I want him to run more too and be part of the running game, because I think your running game even improves more when your quarterback can run like that, when he's a threat like that. That keeps defenses, especially linebackers, a little bit more honest, and you might be able to find more things in the middle of the field if you're able to do that. But the only reason I think they might say that is, man, Tua's out right now. We don't want to get to Boyle. We don't. Skyler, wasn't ready. Maybe we don't want to run Snoop because that we put him at risk for getting injured too. Let's see what we can do from behind the pocket and not put him at too much risk. There might be some of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Sure. Some of that, and to your point on the tight end, I mean, it's always said tight end can be a young quarterback or a backup quarterback's best friend, dominating the middle of the field, closer to the quarterback. It's easier to see him open, get the ball to him. So absolutely keep that going after Jonnu Smith had his best performance, most prolific performance with the Dolphins since joining this team. And of course, and work that in conjunction with the run game. I want to see all those things going. And I mean, it probably won't be like it won't be something that creates an offensive explosion, but you're counting on this defense right now. As you try to work through this rough patch of games where you're going with Tua, but in a low scoring game, just produce enough. Don't turn the ball over, and have a drive or two like the one that you saw in the fourth quarter where. You just matriculate the ball down the field and go to the run game. Huntley makes some plays when he has to on third down. And, hey, you have a Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle when the time comes for that too. So that the weapons are all there for this offense to, regardless of backup quarterback, starting quarterback, to at least be somewhat efficient out there.
What's the latest with Chubb? What do we know?
With Chubb, just that it's not yet this week for him, so he's still working back. It's kind of going to be a week to week to see if the Dolphins are ready to bring him back just to begin practicing. And I'm sure he'll need plenty of practice once he does reach that point too. So it's not like it would be anything imminent right now. And now it's already October 17th. At this point, then I'm looking into November because as far as him returning, yeah, because he's it's not going to be this week. He's not coming back. So even if he were to practice starting next week, I wouldn't bring him back the first week. I want to activate him off PUP. So yeah, you're looking into November of as far as seeing him out there. So at least a couple more games where the Dolphins have to get by without Chubb and without Jalen Phillips, needing Emmanuel Ogbah to continue to step up, Chop Robinson to step up, get his first sack. I think he's getting closer, and Tyus Bowser too, who can kind of really be a plug and play with his knowledge of this defense.
The Jalen Phillips thing, before you came on, I was talking about this, that the Dolphins have put themselves now, and Jalen now is in a difficult position. They have to take it easy and be very responsible and very deliberate the way they bring him back, because you got to be concerned with Jalen. What you don't want, I've been following sports for so long, like I have. One of the things that takes away from a player's potential is injuries. And if they all mount one after another, it takes away from their ceiling, and their ceiling becomes lower and lower and lower. So Jalen's already suffered a major injury last year, and now he's got another injury. I think the Dolphins and Jalen himself have to really pace yourself this time and not hurry anything, not overplay anything, and be careful, because you want to try to string together the next few years of healthy, and that way you can really reach your potential. You know what I'm saying? But if you continue to have these setbacks, it will stump you. It will stunt your growth, in other words. And you'll never really we know that Jalen Phillips can be a monster. You can see it right there, bro. It's right in front of your screen. The guy has all the ability. But if you allow him to continue to suffer injuries, man, it's a shame. We may never see the best. So I hope they take it easy with him on the way back here.
Yeah, it really would be a shame to see that happen with Jalen Phillips, a guy with so much promise, and a guy who has come back from all these injuries in college. I mean, he medically retired, going back to when he was at UCLA before transferring to the University of Miami, having an exceptional 2020 season, getting drafted in the first round. And you hadn't really seen too much of it his first few years in the league until then. Obviously, that devastating Achilles injury at MetLife Stadium last Black Friday, and then now a second straight year where it happens, this time with a partially torn ACL. It's a contract year for him coming up next year in 2025. So he had the fifth-year option picked up. He's going to be playing on it. And then it's going to be a determination of whether he can stay healthy or not and play a productive full season, and what that ceiling is, as you mentioned, after coming back from an Achilles and an ACL on the same right leg. So next year will be so vital for him in terms of the future. And I would really just hate to see it for a guy with such great character. And he's even conducted himself with such a positive attitude. I asked Anthony Weaver about it today because I saw his social media post about his successful surgery. And he said for a lot of guys, this would break a lot of lesser men, a lot of lesser people. And it's just incredible how resilient he's been, and the mental fortitude that it's going to take for him again to come through another season-ending injury. The positive thing for him is that it happened early in this season, so there is still maybe more time all off season to get right, and then eventually come back at his own pace. Definitely be cautious with it, and make sure he can be his best form in 2025. See if he can have a fully healthy season and produce the way we knew him to be before these two injuries. And hopefully he produces to a level that will earn him his next contract.
Oh, dude, he can be a stud, bro.
Yeah.
I just want him to just take it easy with him and bring him along slowly. Let him get to 100. Let him be really because he didn't really have a good training camp to really get ready for the season. He was still getting healthy, dude, and so it's kind of a shame. And I just think when you have a super talent like that's raw, eh, let him finally blossom. And so give him the foundation he needs. Let him get him healthy, bro. Just get him healthy, and then give him a fair opportunity to go out there and absolutely tear it up. It'll be a lot of fun to watch if he's able to do that. What are you looking at this game? You think the Dolphins can pull it off?
Yeah, I think they can. That's not what I'm officially predicting. I do have the Colts. My official prediction was Colts 20, Dolphins 17.
But did you have that with Flacco or Richardson? Because I thought the Dolphins got a huge break with
Yeah,
Richardson.
yeah. See, now we make our predictions early in the week, and I was basing more so on the Dolphin side of things. But the more I think, the more I'm giving myself reason why the Dolphins could pull it off. But then I also try to second guess myself and say, am I doing that to arrive at a conclusion of a Dolphins win, or am I
Right.
truly feeling it? So
That's fair.
yeah, I'm kind of like stuck in the middle with it. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be
They don't
surprised at anything.
deserve it. You
Huh?
you know, the way you're thinking is the right way. This is where the Dolphins fail in these kind of moments. Mike McDaniel hasn't shown you to be a great coach in these kind of moments. So yeah, I get why you wouldn't believe it. The Flacco thing, I think that could have kept them obviously, in the game, and maybe even the Colts can win it. But Richardson, I think he is, a gift out there. I think he's going to be giving the ball away too at the same time. Although he's very injury prone, he may not even last the game too.
Right. Yeah, there is that. But I mean, you look at him 3 touchdowns thrown to 6 interceptions. Joe Flacco, 7 touchdowns to 1 interception. So, opportunity and completing 50% of passes to Flacco, 65% of passes. So, that's from a passing perspective. Obviously, we know what Richardson can do in the dual threat
Richardson is a
abilities.
freakish athlete, but
He is.
he's not a passer, not yet, bro. I don't know
Right.
if he ever will be. He's a thrower, but he's not a passer.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Why I give myself reason why to believe the Dolphins could pull it off, and maybe they can force some turnovers. I could see Jalen Ramsey baiting him into a throw and whatnot. Javon Holland, if he plays with a club, going out there and punching a ball with that big ass club, that would be cool to see. The way he did Week 1 against Jacksonville, but. Yeah, so in a way, it's a gift, but then there's also a whole another element of what the Dolphins have to defend in the extension of plays that he could create and him running the ball himself. But another big thing for the Dolphins would be Jonathan Taylor has missed the Wednesday's practice and Thursday's practice this week. So if he's not playing, then that run game looks a lot different for the Colts. So that's another reason why you could see some optimism for the Dolphins to pull off this road win.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I hope that they're able to pull off the road win. It would be nice. Injury wise, who are they getting back?
Yeah, I mean, we did just have an injury report released, so a lot things similar. I mean, I think Devon Achane, after 2 full practices on the injury report, as he goes through concussion protocol, indicates he's in phase 5. So this being Thursday, then if no more symptoms, then maybe we find out tomorrow that he was cleared. Maybe it takes one more day to get that final clearance. But Javon Holland still going through some limitations. Wearing some protective wrapping on that left hand. When balls are thrown to him in DB drills, he's one time I saw it not thrown, but then another time he'll catch it with one hand. So obviously that would create some limitations as far as coverage abilities and whatnot. Jordan Poyer is trying to work back from the shin, so 2 safeties there with their status in question. It's Marcus May if one of them doesn't go, and then it's Elijah Campbell with him if neither one of those can go. And I think like Emmanuel Ogba, he had this bicep issue pop up this week after he appeared to make it through the New England game just fine. I would anticipate he's probably going to play, but yeah, that is just something to monitor with him, of course.
Okay, all right, good stuff there. Tua, you expect him next week, right? No matter what they said. I know they kept it all vague, but since he traveled to Seattle, dude, you can tell He's probably one of those coconut heads that, okay, it can get rattled, but he bounces back quickly. Because there's no way you make a Seattle trip without the approval of a neurosurgeon, bro. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? You talked to a doctor before you were approved to go on a 5.5 hour flight with that kind of cabin pressure and your situation. So he's got to be ready, bro. He'll be playing against Arizona next week, right?
Yeah, well, here's the thing, and why probably a lot of things have been kept vague. And my understanding is, well, since he can't practice officially while he's on injured reserve, then he can't go through the final stages of concussion protocol, which involve going through practice. And maybe it's different for a quarterback because the fourth phase is going through football-specific practices without contact, and the fifth one is a full practice with contact, which quarterbacks don't experience contact in practice anyway, so that's different for them. But it seems to tell me they're kind of like sitting at that phase because he cannot be designated for return to begin practice until he has met the 4 games missed required minimum on IR. So, I've debated with my colleague Chris Perkins, who you'll probably have post game again, as far as just the IR decision with him, because it seems like you said that he's been recovering fine, and all the feedback that we hear about has been positive. And actually, his first game that he's eligible back, which would be Sunday the 27th against Arizona, that's then.
What's Parkin's argument that they wasted an IR space on him?
I'm sorry, what?
What's Perkins' argument that they wasted the IR space on him? Just keep him on the active roster instead?
Well, I was kind of saying that because the IR decision then limits that you can't even bring him back to practice and then get him through that final protocol phase. And you could have had him back 38 days after the original concussion has suffered if you give him through the bye week. And then, granted, you have him on the roster for 3 games that he has to miss if you go that route. But you could have him for this game coming up 38 days instead of 45 days after the concussion is suffered, which is still a lot of recovery.
So they just went with optics, you think, huh? That's it, huh? Optics.
I think that was part of it. I think how scary it was initially, and just feeling, well, if he probably going off the concussion history, how long the last one took to recover from, where he wasn't cleared through protocol. It was more than 30 days because it was December 25th, that Christmas Day game against the Packers, and it wasn't until the start of February so he went through the whole January without it, while still in concussion protocol. But I just wondered, especially with a game that's going to be so pivotal in terms of swing in the Dolphins' record, 2-4 versus 3-3. I do wonder about it, but it would certainly all be justified if the Dolphins pull out a win and can get to 3-3 without him. But then, right, it would be huge to have Tua come back to a 3-3 team instead of having to dig the Dolphins out from 2-4. But I do just wonder if they could have had him available for this one. But I understand the bigger picture as well of just avoiding the questions every week, the timeline, not putting any timeline pressure, not taking it week to week. But especially having that early bye, I just wonder if it could have been more beneficial to just take it week to week, how all other concussions are treated in the NFL. Like, you don't see this with Devon Achane, Kendall Fuller, Teron Armstead, other quarterbacks on other teams. But we know Tua's concussion history is different than those others.
You have a point. You've wasted roster space over the last couple of years with people like Tanner Conner anyways. Like, that guy's never earned a roster spot, and yet he's been on your roster the last couple of years, taking up a spot. He's not even on the practice squad. He's on the active roster, right?
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
So
Ethan Bonner has been an inactive for 4 of the 5 games.
Okay, but there's something about him that, because defensive backs, whatever, and he looked good in training camp in the preseason. So you need that depth. You've been burned with that. Okay, fine. But this kid hasn't shown you shit and at all. And Julian Hill is a guy that I like him, actually, compared to Tanner Conner. There's nothing. I haven't seen anything from Tanner Conner I know that he can run like a deer, but outside of that, I haven't watched anything that I can say, oh, yeah, no, I like this guy. Julian Hill, I can see the ability, the blocking, the running, the catching, but obviously he makes so many damn mistakes. It's frustrating, but okay, I can understand that one. But people like Tanner Connor, yeah, it backs your point up, dude. It just backs your point up, you know?
Right.
Yeah. You've wasted space with other people. Why not keep two on the active roster
starting quarterback in case he could? Yeah, he could be available. Yeah,
and save one of those IR moves. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, and once you do that, then he's able to participate in practice and go through those final phases, where right now he cannot while he's on IR.
Right. No, I like it. I like your thinking. I like your thinking there. All right. Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. He'll be back post game live with us there in Indianapolis, but he'll be in the stadium. We'll be at Tavern on South eating some good food. Anyway, David, appreciate you. Safe travels, my brother. Oh, by the way, what are you doing Sunday night? What are you doing Sunday night?
Getting dinner somewhere in Indy.
Let's go to Lario's. Have you been to Lario's, as the Italian place?
I've not. I've been to St. Elmo's. I've been to Prime. I've been to Tony's. Been to what else? I mean, I can name several, but I don't think that sports bar that we checked out one time.
Yes. Yeah. But this is like 5 minutes outside of downtown.
Oh, okay.
It is authentic Italian, family style. You walk in and it's like pure, like you're walking into Italy, and you're like, wait a minute, am I in Indianapolis? What the, it's like one of those deals. Okay. Like seriously, like real Italians running the damn place. You know what I'm saying? Like when you walk in, you're like, holy shit. So you haven't had Lario's?
No. I mean, I haven't ventured much out of the downtown area.
Dr. Perkins and see if he wants to go. It's a 5-minute Uber ride, bro. It's nothing.
Okay.
We'll go after I'm done with the broadcast, you're done with writing, and so's Perk, and we're all done. Let's all go to Lario's.
Well, it's me and Hyde on this trip.
Hyde. All right, so let's take Hyde to Lario's. I don't know if he's ever been there, but it's a really, really good stuff. All right? You good? I can't hear him.
Okay. All right.
Good shit.
I'm in.
All right, you got it. Be safe. I'll catch you in Indy. All right. I'll catch you in Indy. Be good.
Yes, sir.
All right, there you go. The great David Furones, Welt Rheaume, 954-966-4646.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.